Officials in the Central Asian country of Kyrgyzstan have said that more than 11,500 people have been evacuated following a flare-up in violence along its border with Tajikistan. In a dispute over water rights, both sides have exchanged gunfire. The armed clashes are leaving at least 31 Kyrgyzstani citizens dead and more than 100 others injured. Joining me now is our Chief Foreign Editor, Rob Parsons. Rob, this is clearly a worsening situation on the border. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing to be said is that this is not the first time that there have been border clashes between the Kyrgyz and Tajiks. In this case, Tajiks living inside Kyrgyzstan. There have been clashes going on for at least 15 years, if not since the start of the independence of the two countries after the collapse of the Soviet Union. But this is by far and away the worst clash that has happened, with, as you're saying, at least 31 people dead. We don't really have the figures from the Tajik side, but it's suspected that they're pretty much the same as well. And around 12,000 people evacuated from the area, and many, many wounded, of course. Artillery has been used, mortars, heavy machine guns, and so on. And this started off, as you correctly said, as a dispute over water rights in the village of Koktash on the border, where water supply to the canals that feed into both countries takes place. Apparently, Tajiks thought the Kyrgyz were trying to meddle with the water supply. There was anger about that. Clashes started. It spread from the civilian population to the police, to the armed forces on both sides, then spread up to the enclave of Vorukh, which is a Tajik enclave inside Kyrgyzstan, very near to the border, which has become itself a source of tension between the two sides, with the Tajik president visiting not very long ago and the Kyrgyz suggesting it should be incorporated into Kyrgyzstan. As a consequence, tensions are very, very high at the moment.
So, given that tensions have flared, who at this point in the region can act as mediator? And in fact, what can the international community do?
Well, it's difficult really to give a simple answer to that question, because both countries, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, as indeed neighbouring Uzbekistan, have inherited problems from the Soviet Union. These are three countries which did not exist as states before they were incorporated into the Soviet Union. Three republics were created with often arbitrary borders, and hence the problems you have now that they have become independent. The borders incorporate, for instance, Tajikistan incorporates Uzbeks as well as Tajiks in large numbers. Kyrgyzstan has lots of Uzbeks in it, lots of Tajiks, as we're now seeing. So far, they've managed to finalise about 500 kilometres of the almost 1,000-kilometre border between the two countries. But there are still enormous disputes going on about where the border should really be, particularly on issues of water. And this is now a very modern problem which is exacerbating that borders dispute. With global warming, water is in short supply, and disputes are increasingly happening about who should have the rights to the water, what side of the border a water pumping station should be, and so on. And that, unfortunately, is the problem at the moment. How you go about solving it when the roots are so deep is a very big problem.
Rob Parsons, thank you for that.